overcast skies, but the rain having, for the most part, stopped. What would be interesting is to see the work going on at turn 17 in back from the Chevrolet Corvette pace car, which has, I think, pretty much got the full field now, heading down into turn 17. To be the rundown, actually, because there have been a few pit stops and it's just shook the order up a little bit. Christian Fittipaldi leading in the safety car train in the number 5 Action Express car from his teammate Dave Cameron in 31. And in fact, the safety car has just pulled into the pit lane, so we're going green again. Rather caught me out, but not clearly the drivers, and certainly not Christian Fittipaldi, as he got right on the right-hand pedal early. Dave Cameron comes to the inside towards turn 1. As much as anything, I think, to see the apex of the corner with this amount of spray that's being thrown up, a huge amount of spray from these very, very efficient rain tyres from whichever of the manufacturers are supplying the categories. Third place is Mark Goosens in the number 90 VisitFlorida.com car, and he's right there with Cameron, and Jordan Taylor is right in there as well. So it's Corvettes, DPs 1 to 4, 5, 31, 90 and 10. Osnegri Jr. coming through the traffic, but he's got a lot of cars between himself and the guys at the head of the field. Lightning in the distance, flashing away over the far side of the hotel here. Huge piece of fork lightning striking the ground off in the far distance. As the cars are providing the thunder, Mother Nature providing the light show here at Sebring as we're back underway after a rain delay.
And the reason that the number 2 car, the one of the early pace setters, came into the pits just before we went back to green was for Ed Sharp was for Ed Brown to hand over to Scott Sharp to take the green flag in these pretty treacherous conditions right now. So again, good strategy by the ESM team. Maybe a little bit frustrating for Ed, but I'm sure he'll get his chance later on in the day. But right now, you want somebody with the proper experience to be out there in these conditions.
Shea Adam was watching that pit stop.
They not only did a driver change, they gave new wet tires, so he is ready to go for a while, and we're seeing quite a few teams getting ready to come back into pit lane. Even though they've just been circulating behind the safety car, they still feel like new wet tires might be beneficial at this point in time, especially given that a red flag could maybe come at any point in time if the rain picks back up.
Well, the other thing is,
the thunderstorm comes.
Yeah, if the thunder comes clear, there are some very strict health and safety rules about the proximity of working under lightning. And the other thing is, of course, there might be one or two other teams, Jeremy, who will be looking at the chance to get the pro drivers back in and try and make hay whilst the sun isn't shining. In this case, across the line goes Christian Fittipaldi. In the classes, the Corvette is leading GTLM, but only just from Nick Tandy. Tom Milner in the 4 from the 911 of Nick Tandy, who loves this weather. Dirk Mueller for Ford is third in GTLM, another 1 second further back. The top 3 in GTLM separated by just over 3.5 seconds. Then a big gap back through the PC field to Lucas Löhr, who leads the wreck of the pass, and he's in the pit lane. And Spencer Pickett's in the pit lane, and Dirk Werner also in the pit lane for the number 25 BMW. So here are one or two of the GTLM teams jumping. Now I wonder if that is just to change drivers or change. Are they thinking it's going to dry up super quickly? That's the only thing I can think of. As the 540 comes in as well, well, that looks like they're soaking up a penalty in the number 100 box here.
There are a lot of penalties being served right now, John, up and down the pit lane. All these pit callers we thought we were seeing, nope, they are all penalties. Most of these teams trying to claim that the pit lane clothesline emergency service was getting wet tires. Not so in IMSA, so you're going to have to pay the fine. Yeah,
okay, understood. I thought we would get a slew of penalties for that, with people jumping in to the pit lane. Meantime, out on the circuit, Tommy Milner is leading GT Le Mans, and
BMWs then, huh?
That's going to hurt them.
Yes,
and they've been held for a very long time indeed. 55, Spencer Piggott is on his way. Lucas Lowe has just left the pit lane, so has Joe Miller in the vicinity. Jeremy Shaw just doing a nice little two-step in front of me now as he untangles himself with his headphone cord. Wow, really difficult to pick your turning and braking points down to 17 through the spray and the relative darkness. It's difficult enough at the best of times, but that is a big, wide open space. Rain light flashing on the back of that Corvette. I'm not sure I actually like the flashing rain light. I like a steady rain light. It's confusing when the brake lights go on. To me, seeing both. 911 is Nick Tandy in second place, and he has just a second between himself and Dirk Mueller, and a second between himself and Tom Milner. So first, second and third within 2 seconds or thereabouts on the track at the moment. And Tandy is coming. There goes the 25 BMW out of the pits after serving its penalty. Two Turner BMWs going through. Linus Stern in 5th and 6th position in GTD, which is led by Mario Farnbacher in the 23 Porsche. Madison Snow in the Lamborghini, the 48 Paul Miller racing car in 2nd position. And in 3rd, that's Matt Bell in the number 9. So Porsche, Lamborghini and Audi in the top 3 cars in GT Daytona, separated, well, 5 seconds or thereabouts. So still plenty of battles, but none better than at the head of the GTLM field, where Nick Tandy has, some might say, inexorably crawled his way towards the leader, not using anywhere near as much circuit as Tommy Milner is at the moment. Front engine rear wheel drive American Muscle versus rear engine rear wheel drive European Exotica. Through the Jean de Bihan bends, 3 gears down, nobody looking for the apex at that point. Tommy going particularly wide, and it looked to me as though Nick was able to get the power on so much earlier and rockets out of turn 16 immediately, making up a car or two's length, and he's there. It's going to be a question of whether he can see where to brake and turn in for 17. They've got cars ahead of him, Jeremy, and this is a tough one. They are fighting their own battles here. Now, will Tommy go wide here? He's moving out. Tandy goes to the apex and gets all crossed up and somehow uses his experience to keep that car from sliding into the Corvette or clipping the wall on the inside. The headlights are coming back towards us. They've gone across the line down into the first corner, and Tandy has not quite got there. He's on the rear 3/4 panel. He's up to the door. He slides towards the nose of the Corvette. They're side by side and through the exit of turn 1. Tandy's still there. Cars ahead of them into 3, and Tommy Milner holds on the inside as they cut through the traffic, going by the 44 there of Madison Snow, and it's 3 wide at 5. That's not going to work. Out of the carousel. Oh, and Tandy chancing his arm on the blue and white curves on the right-hand side under the Corvette bridge now through 6, heading down towards the hairpin at 7. What an enthralling battle. Brilliant driving by 2 very, very impressive pilots there, Jeremy. And, oh, the Corvette's gone wide at the hairpin. I think he chose to do that, but it looks like the Porsche's got more grip on the inside of the corners, which normally would be slippy in these conditions.
Fascinating, isn't it? Really cool to watch these guys pushing there to the limit and just about giving each other room. But number 4 Corvette there with Tommy Milner at the wheel, slightly a little bit wide in the exit of turn 10, but is there room for Nick Tandy to do the over and under? Not quite, but boy, this is a great battle going on between these two. This is the lead of the race now in GTLM. Not too far behind him is Dirk Mueller in the BMW, in the Ford, I should say. Excuse me, it'll be too long when I see Dirk Mueller driving BMWs. In one of the 66 Ford. And then his 3rd place in GTLM. Meanwhile, out front, it's Christian Fittipaldi, who leads still for Action Express Racing. His teammate Dane Cameron pretty much right behind him. Then Mark Goosens and Jordan Taylor, the 4 DP cars. Got a nice little train going there and pulling away from Ozzie Negri, the pole-sitting car, number 60 in the 5th position. become the leaders now to complete lap 56. That time around for 2 minutes 13.7, so that's a good 10 seconds away from the dry weather tyres at times. But yeah, the track is drying out slowly.
Yeah, very slowly
raining at the moment.
And through goes Nick Tandy to the lead. He's pinched the corner at turn 17, got inside the number 4 Corvette and takes the number 1 position for GTLM for Porsche, and that is 11th position overall, and immediately takes 5 or 6 cars lengths out of the Corvette of Tommy Milner, who is doing a great job just to keep that car on the circuit at the moment. This is Porsche weather. This is Porsche weather. And I'd expect to see the 912 making some progress as well. They came through into turn 17. Tommy very wide indeed, got way wide in fact.
Yeah.
That wasn't just the rain line there, just got too deep. But again, didn't panic, didn't slam the brakes on, didn't try to drag the car back. Behind them, by the way, Dirk Mueller in the number 66 Ford will be challenging for second shortly. It's going to be Ford versus Chevy for second place. I haven't seen too many of those battles on the circuit yet this season. 2 of the big 4. And Tommy Milner is just watching a Porsche getting smaller and smaller in front of him, and a Ford GT getting larger and larger behind him as Dirk Mueller took something, over a second out of the Corvette last time around, and a spin. And that's the 68 car, I think, Andrea Bertolini, who's looped it.
Oh.
That shows how difficult things are. Pits are closed. Going to get a full course caution if he does restart it, and he hasn't, and we have, if that made any sense. So Bertolini out of 9th position in GTLM brings out our third full course caution. The safety car is out, and Shea Adam is down in the pit lane.
It started sprinkling again, John, and there was just a big flash of lightning that illuminated the entirety of the pit lane.
Saw that.
And Johnny Knotts looked at me and just gave me that knowing look. It's getting closer.
Yeah, this is the southern edge of the northern weather front that is pushing through right across Florida. We are right in the middle of Florida, and we thought it might just scrape a little bit north of us. Looks like we might catch it, rather more of it than we'd expected. Huge heat haze from the back of the turbocharged Ferrari, but sitting at the moment without any prancing horsepower. Andrea Bertolini with that car not running. A bit of damage on the left front of that car. The nose paint just peeled off a wee bit. Looks like a fairly easy recovery. Pits are closed. Corvette safety car deployed.
A change in the leadership of PC right before that caution came out. Stephen Simpson in the JDC Mueller Motorsports, that's the bright yellow number 85, has taken the lead away from Robert Alon in number 52 car for PR1 Matheson Motorsports.
And welcome our listeners to RadioLeMans.com, who have been to this point listening to the 12 Hours of Mugello, second round of the FIA Endurance Series. Thanks to Johnny Palmer, Nick Damon and to Joe Bradley for bringing us coverage from Italy. The RSL IMSA Radio Network now all together, and you join us as we go full course caution for the 3rd time for Andrea Bertolini and a dead stick Ferrari. But the big story is the weather. Don't forget we're on sound and vision at RadioLeMans.com and on the IMSA.com app and website. Just about dodged the first weather front, went to the south of us, got a bit of a splash which caused some issues, but the northern arm of the front looks rather more nasty. A bit of thunder and lightning in the air, and the brighter the colour, the worse the weather. For those of you watching the weather radar, as the 68 Scuderia Corsa car gets pulled away on the end of a tow rope, straight back into the paddock. That's the good thing, so they will at least get that car back, but that looked fairly terminal for Andrea Bertolini. What a shame. Daniel Serra had that car up in the top 3 or 4. Well, Jeremy, now this throws all your plans out the window, doesn't it?
Yeah, everything's on hold for a while, that's for sure. We've had some shuffling around, and it's run down the order for you. Shall we? Up at the front, we've got 9 cars on the lead lap. That would be led by, of course, by number 5, Christopher Fittipaldi, number 31 car, Dane Cameron, number 90 car, Mark Goosens, number 10 of Jordan Taylor. Those 4 were well clear of number 60 car, Ozzy Negri, who's now been able to close that gap considerably. A fair way farther back on the road is number 24, Carlos de Quesada. The team owner at Allegra Motorsports is at the wheel of that car right now, running superbly in the 6th position. That's very impressive. The Delta wing of Catherine Leger in the 7th place, and Henrik Hedman in the number 81 car, and Scott Sharp in number 2. They're the last cars on the lead lap. Just 1 lap down now as a result of that pit stop, which we believe was a penalty right after that full course, later full course caution, was Spencer Piggott in 55. So there's the top 10 prototype cars, and Piggott, the last of them, is 1 lap down. Nick Tandy therefore leads GTLM in 11th place overall. That's car number 911. Followed number 4 of Tommy Milner. That's the Chevy Corvette. There's Ford number 66 of Dirk Mueller, the Porsche number 912 of Earl Bamber. Then it's our 2 PC leaders. Number 85 car Stephen Simpson, number 52 of Robert Alon. Then 2 more GTLM cars, the Ford of Richard Westbrook, number 67. Giancarlo Fisichella, the recent competizione Ferrari, car number 62. Then the number 20 BC car of Ryan Lewis, 4-bar-1 Motorsports. Then the Jan Magnussen Corvette car number 3. Quite sure how he got shuffled back there, but anyway he has. And then John Bennett, who recovered from that huge spin, and I think might be 2 laps down to the leaders. And then the other guys that got pit stop penalties of 100 BMW is in 22nd place, and the team car number 24 is where? 25 car is 26, so just 3 or 4 positions farther back.
John Bennett is on the same lap as the PC leader, though. He's only 1 lap off the overall lead.
Correct.
And on the same lap as his class leader. It's the top 1, 2, 3, 4. John is the last man on the lead lap, I think. No, I'll tell a lie. The 38 car's still there as well. And in fact, as they go, I think pretty much all of the field. Michael Lyons is the first one in the 88 Starworks car in 7th position, who's off the lead lap in PC.
Yeah, and those were all cars that had to make pit stops after that full course caution.
GTD. It's Mario Farnbacher for the Porsche number 23. He's completed 55 laps, and pretty much the whole field of GTD are still there, certainly half of it. 13 cars down to Pierre Caffer in the 45 fly-listed Audi is still on the lead lap. So it's 23 Porsche from 48 Lamborghini, Madison Snow there. Matt Bell in the number 9 Audi is 3rd. Then it's 16 Lamborghini, 51 Ferrari, BMW number 97, Michael Marçal behind that one, Matt McMurray behind the wheel of the 73 Porsche, Christina Nielsen getting a go of the 63 Ferrari. She was in very good form this morning, looking forward to getting out there. Not sure she'll be liking these conditions quite so much. Cooper McNeil behind the wheel of the 22 Porsche, Robin Liddell behind the wheel of the 6 Audi, and then Pierre Caffer. They are the cars on the lead GT Daytona lap.
Raining again now.
Oh dear.
And I think Dirk Werner is 1 lap down, isn't he? I'm not sure where he is on the racetrack. I think Dirk Werner, number 25 BMW, did fall off the lead lap.
Lead lap in class. I would agree with that, Jeremy.
Good wait to see where he comes round, I think.
He might be almost 2 laps down, actually. He's definitely 1 lap down, and depending on where he is in the queue. Well, has the safety car pulled off there? Looks like we're getting a little bit quicker. The car's coming round the final corner.
Yeah, green flag.
Green flag, yeah. And again, a huge amount of spray thrown up on the start-finish line as they go past us. I have ultimate respect for anybody in this driving with reduced vision and reduced traction. And Werner goes through there in front of us, Jeremy.
Yeah, number 25 guy is definitely a lap down to the leaders in GTLM.
Correct, who've all done 58 laps. He's just completed his 57.
Yeah, right in the middle of the pack too.
The 911 leads that, and that is Nick Tandy in the number 911 Porsche. And he's already pulled out a 2.5 to the trailing pack. And he's got the number 60 of Osnegri Jr. in behind him at the moment. He wants by, of course. You find it difficult, I would have thought, to live with the Porsche coming out the slower stuff, and indeed Nick Tandy smokes him. Horse. GT car, so you're not splashing through the puddles with the centre section of the car. Shea Adam from the pit lane.
It's properly raining now, John.
Yeah, just as we thought it was going to blow by.
The camera guys have actually been called in because of lightning within an 8-mile radius. So you'll see only locked-off shots if you are watching video, but the race officials out here, we're tough. We're going to stick it out and let these cars race.
Thank you, Shea. At the moment, on board with Nick Tandy, and he is our cameraman as they come down the front straight. There is a health and safety directive that lightning within 8 miles means the guys can't be, and camera operating guys and ladies can't be on their towers, and you can understand why that is. So they have been called in, but have locked off the cameras so that we can still get a view of the track. We should take a moment to thank all of our camera operators out there in sunshine and less than. Much like our corner workers, we couldn't do our jobs without them. Shea Adam pit lane caller here.
Yeah, that was interesting. The 62 and the 68 both making their way down the pit lane. At least I think it was the 68, might have been the 63. Similar liveries. They both made their way down the pit lane. The 62 came into a pit stop, didn't even stop at the box, and then kept going. They're both now back out, so I'm going to have to find out what that was for.
I think the 68 was Bertolini rejoining after the car had stalled on the far side of the circuit. The 62 did look like a genuine pit stop, or at least maybe that was a drive-through for Giancarlo Fisichella. Nick Tandy, 3.6 seconds since the restart, pulled out over the rest of the field, which is now led by Earl Bamber in the 912 Porsche.
Yeah, the two Porsches are significantly quicker than anybody else in GTLM on that lap. I mean, they, as you say, 2 minutes 20 for Tandy, 2:22 for Dirk Mueller, and Tommy Milner, 2 minutes 27, 7 seconds.
Yeah, 2:18.9 for Tandy, 2:20.7 for Bamber. Everyone else 20s and above. Some of them 10 seconds a lap away from the Porsches. I went with Jörg Bergmeister this morning. I said, what do you reckon? Is it going to rain? He said, I hope so. I said, really? I said, oh yeah, rain will do for me. Be very happy indeed. So I expect to see the 73 car with Matt McMurray behind the wheel of that car, making its way through the GT Daytona field as well.
Dave Cameron there really tucked in behind Christopher Fittipaldi as they came across the line. The two Action Express cars very, very close together.
Well, we've got, you know, Nick Tandy on a clear lap is as quick as the prototypes at the head of the field, Jeremy. He did a 2:18.6 on a clear lap, and we're getting 2:18.9s from the leader. So again, just what we were saying, it's getting worse out there. Big spray as well, causing problems. It's not so much the fact that it's raining, it's the nature of the circuit here at Sebring. You get puddles, you get standing water, and the cars just skip across them. And at that point, of course, you are not actually in control of the vehicle. 3 wide across the start-finish line in front of us, down into turn 1. Number 44, Magnus Racing Audi. John Potter at the wheel of that in 15th position overall. If you're joining us on the video stream on IMSA TV.
Where's Scott Sharp?
Scott Sharp, number 2 car, is in 9th position, just gone through.
Yeah, he lost a lot of ground on that lap. In fact, he might have had a...
57, yes, he did. And had a whoopsie.
I think so.
Little spin. If you're just joining us, perhaps coming in from the coverage of the Yellow IES, and watching the TV pictures, we haven't got full camera coverage here because rightly our camera operators have been withdrawn from their towers because of lightning in the area. And together across the line.
Yeah, absolutely right. And then just a little bit of a gap back to number 10 car. Where's number 90? Here he comes. He must have had a spin maybe as well.
So Mark Goosens has had an issue. Nick Tandy's not that far behind the leaders, and in terms of his position on the track, but he's got some quick cars between him and them. Gaggles of cars going through in front of us. It seems they may think they're safety in numbers. I'm not so sure about that. I might like to be out on my own in weather like this. Shea Adam in the pit lane.
The 90 came through as the 3rd car in line the last lap by, but on the most recent lap, it was about the 7th car back. It had a really bad lap, Mark Goosens, but you're talking about Nick Tandy catching up to the leaders. Well, he's got 2 cars in front of him right now, and those are the 10, the 5, and the 3rd.
Okay, keep an eye on that. Thank you, Shea. Shea's down on the pit lane as our Continental Tire pit lane reporter. Catherine Legg in 7th position in the Delta wing, keeping that car well inside the top 10. 66 car. Now the BMW number 100, trying to deal with one of the Conrad Lamborghinis at the moment. That car is Lucas Lure driving, and very quiet place to work in that IHG Rewards Club machine. Going down towards the hairpin at turn number 7, turns in from the middle of the road.
Yeah, keeping well away from the kind of classical racing line through there. Very much a rain line being deployed here by many of the drivers. Of course, the rubber build-up is on the normal racing line, but when the rain comes down, that just gets extremely slippery, and often offline, off the regular racing line, has a lot more grip. Just because there's more clag out there, there's more things for the tyres to adhere to.
You were fan of racing in the rain? Is it one of the things you liked? I love it. I do love it. Don't mind the car moving around at all. Well,
I do.
On my early driving in the northeast, it barely ever got dry. I only saw the sun about 3 days in the first 20 years of my life, remember? My last outing was at Anglesey at the back end of last year in a front-engined, front-wheel drive MG with about 200 horsepower. Limited slip diff. Great fun. Absolutely great fun. And a surprisingly nimble machine against the rear-wheel drive cars. In the wet, get the power on a bit early. Don't worry if the battery starts going around.
The 4 GTs seem to be struggling in these conditions, very much so. You can see there the number 67 car just came through, Richard Westbrook, in very close proximity to Robert Alon in the 52 car, the PC car, and they're running pretty much identical lap times, 26s, 27s. The two leaders in GTLM, two Porsches, 21.8 for Nick Tandy, 23.2 for Earl Bamber, then Dirk Mueller 24.5, so he's picking up the pace relative to the two Porsches. Meanwhile, the 4 race leaders, the 4 DP cars out in front of the field, number 5, 31, 10 and 90, they're all running very similar laps, around about 2 minutes 19 or 2 minutes 20, and they are pulling away at 5 seconds or more a lap than Ozzy Negri in the car that started on the pole position.
Yeah. This is going to be one of the significant times in the race, isn't it? We'll look back at this and see who did well and who did badly here. And Nick Tandy, one of the ones doing well, 21.8 last time around, 23.2 for his teammate. Then everyone else in GTLM, 24s, 26s, 27s. And you're right.
31 for Jan Magnussen.
And Jan's good in the wet. Jan doesn't mind the car moving around. But that again might be just getting caught in behind someone who's tippy-toeing.
Yeah, could be. 2 minutes 19.7 again for the race leader.
19.8 from his teammate, 5/10 between them, and then another 7.5 seconds back to Jordan Taylor. 20.1 for Jordan. I mean, it's not hanging about, let's be honest. It's not like we're criticising the guys further down, but it's interesting to see who's doing better than others. Check the times of the other cars down the field to see if anyone in particular stands out. Martin Cassoni in the Ferrari, pretty quick in the wet. Matt Bell doing well, and as you might expect, the Mario Farnbacher Porsche, 226.1, 225.5 for Farnbacher in a GTD car. That's pretty impressive.
There goes Richard Westbrook, lost a position to Ryan Lewis in the PC car. That's pretty interesting to me. Here comes number 3 car, the Corvette of Jan Magnussen. That time was 2 minutes 28, still against the 21 of Nick Tandy, 7 seconds a lap.
Well, we've seen what Nick Tandy can do in bad weather. Go back to Petit Le Mans last year, and I know that Continental did a heck of a lot of work over the off-season on their wet weather tyres for the prototypes, but there's still the Tandy effect. This is a man who grew up on short track ovals, has no fear of the car moving around underneath him at all. Those are the crispness of his down changes in the 911. He's coming out to the back straight now through turn 16.
He just drives with so much confidence, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He knows he's in control.
So what's interesting is, Jeremy, he's not far off a standard racing line there.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And he's just driving very, very smoothly. Listen to how he spaces out his down changes. It's not bang, 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 bang. He's coming down to 17 now. Have a listen. Well, that was a DP going by.
2 DP guys going by.
On the downforce advantage that they had. Nick comes out of the final corner. A little bit of loss of traction across the line. And that was a 24.2 for Nick because he had to slow down for a DP car ahead of him. That DP car's now got out of his way.
Yeah, it was Mark Goosens.
Yeah, Mark's picked up his pace a bit. That was a 20.6.
Yeah.
Now I just wonder if Nick's got the best out of his rain tyres now. As Mark Goosens comes through turns 4 and 5 in the visitflorida.com car. Further back down the field, making up time, or trying to. Ben Keating is at the wheel of the 17th position GT Daytona, the 33 Viper Exchange Dodge. If you're wondering why that car is so far back down the field, did a right rear drive shaft when Jerome Bleekemolen was in the car. Masterful bit of driving from Jerome to get that car back. The pits have closed. We're under full course yellow. We're under full course yellow. This is number 5 now, Jeremy, or 4?
No, 4.
4, okay.
Yeah.
We fortunately have a pits closed marker right in front of us, so I tend to see that first, even before I see the full course yellow. Now, is this just for bad weather, or has someone actually gone off somewhere? There's actually a dry air line around most of the circuit at the moment, despite the heaviness of the rain that is falling, except on the start-finish line, which is very, very wet indeed on the concrete. The asphalt areas tends to lighten up a little more quickly.
So one guy who's particularly grateful to see this full course caution is Carlos Quinte Quesada. He was doing a good job to keep that number 24 car on the road, but he was losing an awful lot of ground.
I think someone's gone off at 17 maybe. I saw an intervention vehicle coming down the back straight towards turn 17. Reminder that we, for safety reasons, do not have our camera operators out when there's the threat of lightning in the air, and that is the situation at the moment with a huge weather system moving in.
Yeah, it's going to be wet for a while.
From the west and south. Adam?
Just hearing from race control that there is a car in the tires at turn 1, but they can't identify which one it is.
Oh, okay. That was why the intervention vehicle was coming all the way around. So a car in the tyres at 1. And it's gone a long way in, not something that we can see there. Very nearly picked the binoculars up there to look at the camera shot. That wasn't going to work, was it? Does it work? No, it doesn't work. Shit.
David Hennemeyer Hansen, you've got a lot of experience in both GT and prototype cars with the open top. You got to get into one that doesn't have a roof over your head. Do you kind of wish it does?
I think actually what I wished the most was that I had a pair of wet tires that I knew what was going to happen with. I've never driven these wet tires before. I hope there's something like a wet Michelin. I don't know. But yeah, the conditions look like they're just going to get worse and worse from here. So I am not necessarily that eager to get in. If we can keep Alex in, as long as he wants to stay in, that's very fine with me.
Is it better in this condition to just have your helmet, which you know won't fog up, versus a windshield that typically will with a GT car?
Yeah, I mean, the times I've been out in the open prototypes, it's not so much visibility of your helmet that's a problem. It's just the fact that all the spray that you just can't see anything, right? But visibility, I think, it is actually better in the open cars. It doesn't fog up, especially in the closed prototypes. It can get really dicey.
One guy who is not worried about this weather, though, is Renger van der Zande. We're just hearing it's the 66, by the way, the Ford prototype that's gone into the tires at turn 1. Renger, you don't mind the rain, do you?
No, I love the rain, actually. And we've always been quick out in the wet. I think here it's a bit like Petit Le Mans. It's getting even worse now. So I hope we're looking at the radar, and it's just getting worse from bad to worse. So we'll see. I mean, for no one, it's nice to drive in such conditions. Also not for me, but we got some good tires on there. The car is behaving well in the wet, so I wouldn't mind going in there and give it a try. But especially it's important to stay on track for now and get through the worst part of the rain.
Well, hopefully for Renger it ends like Watkins Glen did, because he stood on the top step for that one.
Yes, well remembered. Yeah, quite correct, Shay. Thank you for that information. The 66 of Dirk Mueller has gone into the tyres at turn number 1. The 66 Ford GT prototype, as you said. There will be a street car later this year. The team car has held on to 4th position in the hands of Richard Westbrook. No, I can't give you any updates on that 66 because we can't see it from here.
But he had been struggling, certainly,
yes.
and he was coming under pressure from number 4 Corvette of Tommy Milner. And finally, the car seems to have got away from him down at turn 1.
Well, not difficult, is it?
No,
well, not in these conditions. You'd say there's a few places. 17, you have to come across the track, and there's lots of puddles there. Very easy to just aquaplane and have the car lose traction into one. Exactly the same. There's a bump there as well, where you normally get a little bit loose. And once the cars have gone, I mean, even in the wet, Jeremy, yes, their lap speeds are down a bit, but they're still going pretty quick in a straight line.
Well, yes, they are. And it was. You could see some certain drivers that were really struggling in those conditions. I'd be curious to know what sort of. I don't think they have intermediate tyres, do they, on the GTLM? Do they on GTLMs?
Well, Michelin experimented, didn't they, with the slick intermediates last year. What I haven't heard from Michelin is whether that is available to them this year. Now, we get a chance to have a look at Dirk. Well, he just went straight off. Absolutely straight off. Could not get the car turned. And
Tommy Milner coming through.
Tommy Milner going through behind him. And just could not get the car turned into the corner at all. If you're watching the TV pictures, watch to the top right-hand side. I thought we were going to get another view of it there. I feel really sorry for Dirk Mueller there.
I was curious to know what tyres Jan Magnussen's on, because he generally is pretty good in these sort of conditions, I would have thought, and but was losing a lot of ground, particularly to the Porsches.
The last picture frame before the Ford camera went was showing it in the tyres. It's gone in. It has hit the tyre wall, no doubt about that. No words on Dirk Mueller yet. We'll get some news as soon as we have. There's still just over 9 hours to go, 9:11. 67 laps completed.
And so Christian Fittipaldi, who leads the way, I mean, it's a pretty stout stint, isn't it, for Christian?
Yes.
And he's been in the lead, took the lead on lap 39 from Olivier Pla when I think Olivier Pla brought that car onto pit lane.
Yep.
And number 5 car's been out in front since then. But just the 4 changes of position of leadership so far in the race. Olivier Pla led the first 19 laps, then Pipo Derani led 3 laps. Nicola Minassi led 1 as the last driver to make a pit stop in the first round sequence of pit stops. Then Olivier Pla led from that 24 through to 38, and since then it's been the number 5 Action Express car, Christian Fittipaldi, out front.
Let's run down the classes for you. In GT Daytona, Mario Farnbacher leads for the 23 Porsche, ahead of Matt Bell in the 9 Audi. The 16 Lamborghini is in 3rd position at top, still top 13 on the lead lap. 13th now is Brett Curtis's BMW, the 96 car. So what happened to the 45? Pierre Caffer went from 13th to 6th in that last bit of green flag running under rain. So that's pretty stout. I think he might owe us a pit stop though. Oh no, he doesn't. He's had his pit stop. So well done to Pierre. In prototype challenge, Steve Simpson ahead of Robert Allon, 85.52, and the 20, the Bar 1 Motorsport car, is in 3rd position.
Yeah,
on the lead lap.
And Ryan Lewis will certainly make up some good ground during that caution, during that brief run, because he restarted in 19th position and made up 3 places to where he is right now. And actually, he passed number 67 Ford
Red flag, Jeremy.
So there is.
Red flag with 9 hours, 8 minutes and 45 seconds to go. This is a weather-related red flag, I am certain.